Hello, people. It's me again, still investigating, analyzing, uh, reflecting on a lot of the inconsistencies and incompetence of how human resources sometimes does not do a good job. I mean, they're very efficient when they want to be, when they need to target somebody, but they're very inefficient when it comes to their friends and those that they like. Today's image is this is the gum that I like a lot. I'm not promoting it, so I remember I used to give some of the girls at work as a gift. I used to give them gum, which I apologize if giving you guys gum was some kind of, I don't know, inappropriate behavior. And I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I say this, because again, if any of those girls see, they will remember that I used to gift them, gum, chocolates, whatever, just to be nice. But nowadays, that's wrong. Nowadays, that is very bad to do that. Nowadays, thanks to Me Too, it's evil to do that. But it's okay to do all the other bad things I mentioned in all the other videos. All of that other stuff, that's okay. But, being a nice guy is wrong. Well, the point today is I want to focus more on human resources. I've mentioned this before, but I want to mention it now with first name and last name. When it comes to, for example, Agnes Ferrer and Evelyn Cruz, they had a conversation that I mentioned previously describing the women in probation in a negative way. Now, how do I know they had this conversation? Like I mentioned before, this is something Evelyn Cruz told me because we used to chat a lot. We used to have a lot of conversations about many subjects, privately between me and her. Again, private comments, but let's play again in the investigation of private comments. We shouldn't keep just certain comments private or public, or should we investigate them all or analyze them all or just some? See, that's the game they play a lot. I want to play their game. So these comments that Agnes made to Evelyn Cruz, this is something Evelyn Cruz confessed to me, again, about the bad behavior of the women up in probation. And she told me at one point, I don't know how we got into the subject, but Evelyn Cruz and I were talking about precisely how women dress, how they provoke, how they sleep around. Again, U.S. probation of Puerto Rico. I don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. Why should I? For these realities. And if HR can talk about this between themselves, hey, I want to be part of the conversation. And I was. Because again, this is something Evelyn Cruz confessed to me, that in one occasion that Agnes Ferrer called her over the phone, over the work phone during work hours. Agnes, and again, and I'm paraphrasing here, Agnes asked Evelyn Cruz, what's going on with the women up there? What's wrong with the women up there? Again, in reference to their promiscuity at work, internally and with people of other federal agencies. My big point here is, again, if it was wrong for me to comment that over text to Victor Lopez, why is it okay for Agnes to comment the exact same thing to another HR person? Isn't that also inappropriate? Again, if it was inappropriate for me to call a lot of these women she-devils, why is it okay for Agnes Ferrer to refer to them as what is going on with the women up there in reference to their promiscuity? Again, think about that for a second. It's okay for HR to comment reality, but it's not okay for a coworker to also comment reality? Do you see the double standard? Do you see the misogyny, the hypocrisy, the ignorance from these people? Do you see this? Again, these comments were private between Evelyn Cruz and Agnes. Well, my comments were private between me, Jose, and Victor Lopez. What's the difference then? Why do the guys get in trouble, but not the girls? This is just too much misogynist ideology. Again, this is just a double standard. This is an injustice. And above all, it's immoral hypocrisy for HR to expect from others what they themselves do not do. Again, which is, again, comments that Yeah, they're not popular, but it's the truth. And I believe First Amendment rights should apply. Canons are nullified immediately because, again, nothing, no policy, no canon, no nothing should violate our constitutional and amendment rights. It shouldn't. But hey, they want to do that, and they have done that. Those writings, again, I mentioned it before, in the entrance, in the elevators, in the main entrance, you have the Constitution beautifully posted on the wall. But that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything to the courts. It's just toilet paper. Really, that's what it really comes down to. So again, human resources also need to do better. Human resources also don't have the morals to criticize the comments of others when they make the exact same comments. Things that they, again, should not be doing. Another point that I want to make with human resources, and this was again with Evelyn Cruz and Chief Babylonia, the previous chief. She told me that many years before, another federal agency, and I mentioned this previously, sat down with Chief Babylonia. I can't remember the agency. I don't know if it was the U.S. Marshals or Homeland Security. I don't know. I know it's an agency where there's a lot of men. And again, this is told to me by Evelyn Cruz because she was present at that meeting. And what was one of the main points at that meeting? Well, that other federal agency told Chief Babylonia, keep your women away from our men. I already mentioned this before, but now I'm mentioning it with the name of the chief and the HR person that told me this that was present there. Again, I guess other agencies also have the right to speak reality, but nothing happened to any of those heads of those other agencies. None of them got fired, none of them got reprimanded, nothing. So once again, only certain people have the privilege to recognize reality. Only certain people. Others do not. Violation of First Amendment right. All men are created equal, apparently, supposedly, right? We're all created equal, right? We all have the same rights, right? Again, equality trash that we preach in trainings, but when it comes to practicing it in reality, it's not practiced in reality. Because in my case, hey, I got terminated for making those comments, but HR can do it amongst themselves. And other agencies can come and meet with this federal agency and also comment about that nasty, promiscuous behavior of a lot of the women at probation. Not all of them. I'll make that clear, and I've made it clear in the past. Not all the women are like that, but a great, overwhelming number is, to the point that another agency has to come and sit down with the chief and tell them, keep your women away from our men. The exact same line of language as Agnes Ferrer and Evelyn Cruz have among themselves during work hours on the work phone, but nobody's watching the watchers. See, they could do that. They could recognize reality. Only some of us can recognize reality. Only some of us can say the sky's blue. Only some of us are protected or are privileged, etc. So once again, when I say he without sin cast the first stone, it is very clear. It is very clear the hypocrisy of human resources. But not only that, let me also emphasize Yarisis Vega. Let's include her too. Like I mentioned before, during the investigation of Victor Lopez, and I have to say myself, when she was asking me who could have provoked Victor Lopez to have made comments towards women. I don't know what they were looking for when they asked me the question. I think, looking back, I think they were trying to blame me. Apparently, I influenced him. Apparently. I don't know. Because again, they ask questions in a covert, secretive way, not giving too much information, which again, lack of transparency, in my opinion, is a Cuba-like system. It is. They should have told me, Mr. Lopez accused you of provoking him. That's what they should have told me. But asking ambiguous questions like who could have provoked him? I mean, hey, like I told Yarisis, the women there provoke a lot based on my own experience. I even told Yarisis some of the things that happened to me. Evelyn Cruz was there present. I told her, look, some of the women here provoke a lot. They don't dress properly. They send out texts. They send out pictures. And I even emphasized, I've had women there, 3 of them, I'm not going to mention their names, I don't want to super embarrass them. They showed me pornography on one of their phones. 3 females from U.S. Probation in Puerto Rico, 3 of them. I was walking by, I was on the 4th floor, they called me over, and they said, hey, you got to see this. It was a joke, quote unquote joke, of a woman giving a man a blowjob. This was done during work hours. This was done, again, to me, from 3 women during work hours in a federal building. I mentioned this to Yarisis Vega. Did she care? No. She said, well, you can complain about that later. Later never came along because I was terminated. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting how human resources are the biggest bullshitters, the biggest hypocrites in the world? When a guy mentions this, that 3 women showed me during work hours in a federal building, pornography, oh, well, you can complain about that later. Later never came along. If these HR people are truly concerned of misbehavior at work, if they're truly concerned, Agnes, Evelyn, Yarisis, they would have immediately, maybe that same day or the next day, called me and say, Jose, come. You need to tell us about these females that showed you pornography. You need to tell us about these females that sent you pictures or comments, inappropriate comments. This is a serious matter to human resources. This is a serious matter to the courts. We represent Chief Judge Arias, Raul Arias, and we must uphold morality equally across the board on everybody. That's what should have happened. They didn't give a damn. They did not give a damn. None of them did. And when it comes to Veronica, same thing. When I mentioned that in front of Agnes and Anton Georgie, the previous clerk, why didn't Agnes call me the next day or email me? Hey, we might want to do a follow-up. Remember, the clerk pointed at me for you to see me for this. Did Agnes do that? No. They don't give a damn about morality there. All they give a damn is about targeting people, misogynously targeting people. Only women have a right to expose hanky-panky, not men. Men don't have that right. So once again, where are the moral standards also from human resources? Where are their true concerns when they are made aware of things, and they've been made aware, especially Evelyn Cruz for years, and they don't give a damn when a man speaks? They don't give a again. I was shown pornography at U.S. District Court of Puerto Rico during work hours by 3 women. They did not give a damn. And there's more. There's more. Again, the other video titled Toxic Workplace, more details. Though in that video, I did not mention the names of the females, but maybe in the future I will. Maybe in the future I will, name by name, of what each one did to me. And did HR care? No. Again, they only focus on the comments, the borderline inappropriate comments of men when, again, HR makes the same comment, it's okay for them to do it. Not men. Men cannot say the sky's blue. Only women. Again, this is horrendous hypocrisy from Agnes Ferrer, Yarisis Vega, and Evelyn Cruz. That's their names. They work at U.S. District Court of Puerto Rico, and they're hypocrites. They do not have any real moral standards that apply equally to everybody. Because if that were the case, they would have called me in and they would have told me, okay, explain to me, Mr. Marrero, what happened with Veronica behind courtroom 2. Okay, explain to me which ones were the 3 females that show you pornography, etc., because I can go on and on and on. But I'm trying to make this video as short as possible. So again, Raul Arias, if you really give a crap about the decency and the justice of what you supposedly represent, you will sit down with HR, with all of them, and start asking serious questions. Serious questions. And as a side note, if anything were to ever happen to me, because I'm not suicidal, and I disappear, I hold Raul Arias responsible for this. If something were to happen to me, if they threaten me in any way, shape, or form, I hold Federal Judge Raul Arias Marchat responsible for whatever happens to me or any member of my family. Because this is real freaking facts that they ignored. And even after my termination, I emailed them with a lot of these facts. They still ignored it. That's Cuba. This is not Puerto Rico. This has become Cuba-style fascist, Marxist, investigative targeting, etc. I don't care, to be honest, if I lose my life because of speaking the truth. But I hold Federal Judge Raul Arias Marchat responsible for my existence. That'll be all for now.